Very good. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. This is an introductory session related to the Orange Contract Administration course that I have circulated amongst you, which we are going to have somewhere on Thursday, right? So I will quickly go into what we are going to do today. So it's not going to be a very long session. I'm going to give you an insight about what we are going to do on these 3 hours that we are going to spend on Thursday, right? So first and foremost, I will have to tell you what Orange Contract Administration is all about, right? So it is none other than, I'm sure that you can see the presentation right now. Can someone tell me that you can see the presentation now?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay. Now, you may have used FIDIC Red Book or FIDIC Yellow Book at any time of your professional life as a contract administrator. So, the likes of FIDIC Red Book and the Yellow Book, which is being used in Sri Lanka, are the SBD2 and SBD4. And you know, now they have given a new version of that one as well, but it is almost similar, some with some value additions to the earlier versions, their predecessors as well. So within this Orange Contract Administration course, what we are going to do is we are going to identify the common areas of FIDIC Red Book and the common areas of FIDIC Yellow Book. Then we are going to keep them apart. We are going to park them somewhere else. And then we will identify what has been changed. So it is very easy in order for you, if you have perused either of the documents, either you have perused FIDIC Red Book or you have perused the Yellow Book, you may be able to shuttle between these two books in order to have a proper idea of what this Yellow Book and Red Book are all about, right? So these 3 hours that we are going to spend on Thursday has been compartmentalized into 7 segments. These are the 7 segments that we are going to do. We will identify what is known as FIDIC universe of phrases. FIDIC universe of phrases is a word that I have given to the phrases which I have identified within whilst administering FIDIC standard forms. How are these phrases been beneficial for you in order to comprehend each and every subclause, each and every concept pertaining to FIDIC? So I'm going to talk about FIDIC universe of phrases. You might have seen the one-page note that I have sent to you, and we will give you a little bit of an insight about how these FIDIC universe of phrases are going to work in order to elevate a value addition into your professional lives. So I'm going to spend about 30 minutes of my time related to FIDIC universe of phrases. And then I'm going to talk about the FIDIC universe of concepts. FIDIC universe of concepts are not something very new that you might not be knowing. It is actually related to the contracts, the administration of the contracts. What are the notions that we are normally using in administering a particular contract, in especially in FIDIC context? You might have used NEC in your academic studies. You might have used JCT in your academic studies, as well as SBD, which is very much closer to the FIDIC concepts. So I'm going to spend about 30 minutes of my time pertaining to that as well. Then we are going to move on to the core of this particular lecture within these particular 3 hours. The second hour starts with identifying the common features of FIDIC Red and Yellow books. Now, for instance, I can give you, about the 88 defined terms within FIDIC 2017 version, and 90 defined terms in FIDIC Yellow Book in FIDIC 2017 version. So what are the changes which have occurred? The words drawings and the word specification has been supplanted with what is known as employer's requirements, right? And there's something called contractor's proposal, which is a new defined term which has been added within the FIDIC Yellow Book. So it is very easy for you to identify what are the common areas and park them in a particular location. Then what are the deviations? We are going to spend about 40 minutes of this particular lecture. That is the major chunk of this particular session, which we are going to identify about the areas which are differing between the red book and the yellow book. Then we are going to have a shuttling session between FIDIC Red and Yellow books as compared to 99, 2017, and how we are going to do that one. Then I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight about what is next, because I have done the desk research and a lot of research has occurred in this regard. And then you are going home with a very valuable document of this particular research, so that you can do your own further study in order to develop your knowledge. Because I know the areas of experience, these are coming from people who are having about 30 40 years odd experience. I know in this forum you do have a lot of experience in engineering as well as contract administration, and there are certain fresh graduates who are coming as well. Then we are going to have a very valuable question and answer session, and I'm going to continue this particular group for a while, so that it will be easier for you to give your ideas, in order for us to understand how to strengthen this particular course, and what are the way forward related to that one as well. What are the documents I am going to refer? I am basically using 7 documents in relation to this particular course. Out of these 7 documents, it's very easy for you to identify FIDIC Red Book and Yellow Book, 99 version as well as 2017 version. In fact, if I am talking about these 2 documents, there are actually 4 documents, because each and every FIDIC Red Book has got 2 versions here. Yellow Book has got 2 versions as well. Then I am going to move on to one of the most discussed areas of our era, which is known as the FIDIC guidance for COVID. You know, the word pandemic is not available within FIDIC Red Book even in 2017 version. But the word epidemic appears within 2 locations within FIDIC Red Book and the Yellow Book. So when an epidemic has got a passport, it will become a pandemic. So in future, definitely FIDIC will come up with a new definition for FIDIC, what is known as the uh, one with the passport, which is known as the pandemic, the defined term pandemic. Then we will move on to what are the scenarios appearing within FIDIC, the guidance note which has been issued somewhere in 2020, once this uh, COVID has erupted. We are going to discuss about that as well. Then we are going to move on to SCL, delay and disruption protocol, as well as AACE, forensic schedule analysis. You might have heard about that one. That is the American version of the SCL, delay and disruption protocol, which is known as AACE, forensic schedule analysis. We are going to get some flavor from SCL protocol as well as forensic schedule analysis in order to strengthen this particular lecture. And then we are going to talk about what is known as FIDIC golden principles. FIDIC golden principles are about how to draft particular conditions of contract, how to draft particular conditions of contract in an ethical manner and in a very balanced manner, in order to have a proper risk and reward allocation in the FIDIC scenario. So we are going to talk about that as well. Last but not least, the document which is having the maximum number of pages, which is known as the FIDIC Procurement Procedures Guide, which will give you an insight about where the yellow book stems, where the red book stems, where the silver book stems. We are going to talk about them as well. So that is also a 249-page document. After this introductory session, if you don't have any of these documents, please do let me know. You need to read a little bit of this one, so that you can get the maximum benefit out of this. What is FUP? I was talking about that one, FIDIC Universe of Phrases. When we are going to talk about FIDIC Universe of Phrases, most important thing that you should be knowing is to understand what are the phrases which are recurring. What are the phrases which are appearing more than once in FIDIC? For example, if you go to the word which is known as beyond, it appears in several locations. If you speak about the word deemed to, which is known as the deeming provision in FIDIC, it appears in many places. I have done a seminar to SLQS UAE last year, I believe, or beginning of this year. related to the deeming provisions. So we are going to catch these FIDIC universe of phrases as much as possible in order to enlighten you how to strengthen your knowledge and how to apply your knowledge within FIDIC Red Book and the Yellow Book when you are shuttling between these two areas. So these are a little bit of the FIDIC universe of phrases that I have identified. This is only the tip of the iceberg. There are many, so we are going to talk about them as well. Then, what is the FIDIC universe of concepts? You know, in the formation of a contract, we have what is known as letter of acceptance. Upon completion of the contract, we issue the performance certificate. Upon termination of a contract, there are certain things we have to do. So these concepts appear within each and every standard form of a contract. If you see NEC, if you see JCT, any other form of a contract, they do have that as well. But when it comes to FIDIC, it has a certain flavor. We are going to talk about that flavor as well. So we are going to talk about the change management, risk management. Then we are going to move on to one of the most important areas, which is known as the extension of time for completion. Variations and claims, which is known as the compensation events within the British context, we are going to talk about them as well. Then dispute avoidance, advance warning, which is a new item which is coming in FIDIC 2017 version. We are going to talk about that. And the program requirements. In 2017 version of FIDIC, there is a very expanded version of program requirements which have been included within that version. So we are going to talk about that in the flavor of Red Book as well as Yellow Book. Then the epidemic and pandemic thing that we spoke about. So that is another area that I am going to talk about when it comes to the FIDIC Red Book and Yellow Book versions. So these are the little bit of a idea that I wanted to give you prior to the session that we are going to have. So I hope that you got an idea about what we are going to do in the on Thursday. So I can give you a little bit of a time, about 5-10 minutes, if you have any questions pertaining to that, so that it will benefit you when you are trying to understand this particular session. Okay, so this will be useful to you. Before allowing you to speak, I wanted to tell you, you will be given a particular certificate along with 3 hours confirming that you have done a formal CPD of 3 hours, which you can claim within your RICS,